Okay, well, here are the odds for Cliff Kingsbury and the Arizona Cardinals. The win total's at 9. Playoffs, precarious. It's close to even money. They're plus 105 to make the postseason, plus 350 to win a tough division, and then 14-1 to win the NFC, 35-1 to win the Super Bowl. Let's look at these season-long odds and player props with the Wizard of Odds, Kenny White, and we will start with Kyler Murray. Kenny, the over-under for passing yards for Kyler is 4,100 and a hook. He has never reached 4,000 passing yards in his career. Does he go over that?
Well, fourth year, Chris, I guess there's a good possibility. But for me on these props that are, season-long props, I'm always looking to go under if I can in a prop because so many things could possibly happen. If you miss a couple of games, it's really hard to reach these type of numbers. He would need to average 240 yards per game to get there. He missed a couple games. If he played 15 games, he'd have to get 273 yards a game to get to this number. Now, let me tell you these numbers. Last year, just 11 of the 32 quarterbacks played every game. That's only 34% of the league. And in 2020 and 2019, 13 guys each played all 16 games. That was 40% of the league. So right away, he's only got a 40% chance of playing every single game. So I got to believe he plays another 15. He missed 3 games last year because of injury. And with mobile quarterbacks, I'm always worried about that. The NFL wasn't made for that. The defenders are too fast, too strong. You get too many injuries by running and leaving the pocket. Now, he does run less than he did the previous season, but still, there's a possibility of injury. There's a possibility sitting out the last game of the season. So I'm going to go under 4,100 yards.
All right, under for Kyler Murray on passing yards. How about passing touchdowns? 25.5. He has gone over that, but he's only gone over that once and just barely. He had 26 passing touchdowns 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, I think this is the right number. I think it's right on. I think if I was going to make a betting number, I would analyze the numbers and say 25.5 is what we're going to take bets at. His touchdown passing percentage has gone up each year, 3.7% to 4.7 up to 5. League average is 4.5, so he's a little bit above the league average the last 2 years. I like what he's done. He takes care of the football. He's below the league average in interceptions thrown. So, Kyler Murray's a great athlete. He makes really good decisions. So I think this is the right number. Even if he does miss a couple games this year, I still think he can go over this.
And DeAndre Hopkins is going to miss at least a few games. 6 right now is the number for DeAndre Hopkins. So maybe he's looking at other pass catchers to do some more. He definitely will be doing that the first third or so of the season. Zach Ertz receiving yards total for the season over 600. They put a hook on that, 600.5. Now, he had over 750 last season, but 6 of those games came with the Eagles.
Yeah, well, he didn't do a whole lot with the Eagles last year. Jalen Hurts couldn't find Zach Ertz, but Kyler Murray could. And it's amazing how Cliff Kingsbury changed his offense from no tight end to bringing Zach Ertz and then falling in love with the tight end position. Great numbers from Ertz last year. To go over this number, he averaged 52. His median was 52 receiving yards a game with the Cardinals and Kyler Murray. He only has to play 12 games to get to this number. I think Zach Ertz is a shoo-in to go over 600. Now, obviously, again, I said at the top of the show, I like to find unders because if there's an injury and a guy misses an extended period of time, they never get to these numbers. It's impossible. But I think Zach Ertz has been pretty healthy over his career. He's a big guy, great target, great hands, and he hooked up with Kyler Murray a lot last year. They got a good combination. I think over is the play here.
All right, let's move to the backfield and James Conner. It's interesting because he had a great season last year, 15 rushing touchdowns. Only Jonathan Taylor had more. And some of the guys that spelled him last season are gone. Yet people are not bullish on James Conner this season. His rushing touchdown total is set at 9.5. We've been fading him in fantasy drafts as well. Where do you go with that number of 9.5 rushing touchdowns?
Well, I think the pickup of Darrell Williams, feeds a little bit into that. Williams great out of the backfield receiving, but he's also a big rusher, a big guy at 225 that you can use at the goal line as well. So that may take some touches away from Conner. Williams, if he ends up being the better back, he's going to steal playing time. It's the NFL, the better players. And you know what? It is a league of ups and downs. His first year, Conner as a starter as the Pittsburgh Steelers, he had 13 touchdowns. his first year, but he slipped to 7 and then 6 the next 2 seasons. This past year, amazing. 15 rushing, 3 receiving touchdowns. 18 looks like this is a shoo-in to go over, but I can't. I'm going to go under it because the way the NFL goes, it's up and down, and Darrell Williams' presence in the backfield. I think Williams is going to steal a lot of touches from James Conner this year.
Okay, under 9.5 rushing touchdowns for James Conner after he went for 15 on the ground last season. The team as a whole, they are close to even money to make the postseason. Sportsline gives them a 55% chance to make the playoffs, but it is right down the middle here. Do you think Arizona, with the Rams in the division, with the 49ers in the division, with the Seahawks never horrible in that division, do you see them making the postseason?
I do not, Chris. I'm betting no that the Cardinals do not make the playoffs because of one reason. Second most difficult schedule in the entire NFL. I've crunched these numbers from what my power ratings say, not who they played last year. I've updated the teams this year, and the schedule they play is really ridiculous. The Rams only play a more difficult schedule, and that's why these teams are playing difficult schedules. They're in the same division. And I also feel like Cliff Kingsbury, he's in a division where he's 4th out of 4 coaches, especially in experience, no doubt, but I think in even coaching ability right now, he is number 4. Pete Carroll and Kyle Shanahan, the Super Bowl winning coach Sean McVay, all are better coaches than Cliff Kingsbury. So I'm gonna bet no playoffs for the Cardinals this season.
Yeah, they have to start with the Kansas City Chiefs, then they have to go to Vegas, and then they have the defending champion LA Rams in Week 3. So a really tough start there. So you don't have them making the postseason. Sometimes you have to win 10 or 11 games to get in. Over-under win total is 9, and there is more juice on the under.
I went under 9 wins. My model has them winning 8 games this year, going 8 and 9. And again, very difficult schedule. I like this team, but it's just when you're up against the Los Angeles Rams, who are again the best team in the division, and a San Francisco 49er team who's going to be just as good as they were last year. The defense is outstanding. Well, Trey Lance is going to be the question mark, whether he's the guy or not, but he played well last year in a couple of games and starts that he got when Garoppolo was out. So the 49ers feel like Lance is the better quarterback, and if I'm gonna go with them, and I'm gonna upgrade his rating to what Garoppolo was. So that made the 49ers a better football team. So again, I have the Cardinals finishing 3rd in the division. They will finish ahead of the Seahawks, but I'm going under 9 wins.
Okay, so when you look at the futures for winning the division, and of course it's all about, you're not really playing the Cardinals to win the division straight up. You're playing the numbers. It's plus 350. Is there enough value there to reach for any of those picks? Plus 350 to win the division, 14-1 NFC, 35-1 Super Bowl.
No, I'm under, and I'm against to make the playoffs. The others I won't bet against, but I thought you should get at least 6 to 7-1 to win the division. That's how I think far behind they are, the Rams and the 49ers here. To win the NFC, I think they should be more about 30-1, and to win a Super Bowl about 70-1. So those numbers should almost be double for the Cardinals. And if you like the Arizona Cardinals, I'm not saying they can't do it because anything can happen in the NFL, but those numbers are so low, I would do a rollover parlay at the end of the year. You want to bet them to make the playoffs if you're a Cardinal fan. Then take that money and roll it over each game on the money line. You'll end up getting well over 100-1 to your money.
Okay, so no interest there in just betting those straight up for the season. Week 1, tough matchup. They are at home, and they are getting points because they're playing the Kansas City Chiefs, who are -3 in this one with a total of 53.
Yeah, I made this game 4 just straight off numbers and adding in home field. I gave 1.5 points for Arizona's home field. And home teams didn't do as well last year as they should. I think they'll do better this year. That's the way this league works. But the Chiefs are the better football team. So my number is -4, and that's not calculating Andy Reid and the time he has to prepare. So I give a big plus 1.5 at least points to Andy Reid for the preparation time over Cliff Kingsbury. So my number is Kansas City -5.5 here, and I think you'll end up seeing this number go up. I think it'll go up to 3.5, maybe 4 and close. So I'm on the Chiefs game 1.
All right, so you like Andy Reid with all that time to prep. But what are you saying? You don't think Kyler Murray has enough time to prep for this one, or is there too much video game time for him?
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but just signed a new contract as well. So I think he's going to be very happy there. But again, when you look at the player, we have Patrick Mahomes on our side on the Chiefs compared to Kyler Murray. So I know I got the best quarterback in the league and maybe the best coach in the league with that much time to prepare. So I'm all over the Chiefs here at this price. If they were 7, I'd be singing a different song and taking the Cardinals because I would say it'd be way too many points.
All right, Wizard of Odds, good to have him on our side here on CBS Sports HQ, looking at the Arizona Cardinals and going under on a lot of season-long player props and picks as well. He does not see the Cardinals making the postseason, under the 9 win total and under Kyler Murray passing yards, under James Conner 9.5 rushing touchdowns. But he does like Zach Ertz to go over 600 yards receiving.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.